In this video, I'm going to explain a little bit on why I've been away from YouTube and my webpage, where normally I create a webpage and a YouTube video explaining how to use a certain piece of software and how to use open source software and Linux such as Ubuntu Mate. But recently I've been having some health problems, and back in May I created this website reviewing this piece of software that allows you to see medical images from where you get on DVDs from your hospital. And I explained that in September 2021 I started having difficult time walking. I thought at the time it was because of pinched nerve in the back, and I was showing x-rays that I had, and I've later discovered after having neck surgery and having the spurs cleared out, I'm still having trouble walking. I'm actually having more trouble walking. It's moved up my back and into my arms, and it's very, very hard to explain, but I do have other videos. This lady here from this, and I do provide links in my story here, where she's walked exactly like me after getting the COVID vaccine shot. Did it cause the problem? I don't know, and I'm not saying that for a fact. I'm just saying after I had the shot, I continued to get worse. So I'm explain a little bit at the top who I am, why I made this page. I said I'm a former college instructor and middle school science teacher who has had a severe reaction to the Pfizer COVID vaccine. I've said I've seen over 15 doctors in the past 18 months, and I haven't really found anyone that can relieve my pain. I've had so many MRIs, CT scans, x-rays, EMG tests, and multiple blood tests. And at first I didn't realize what was causing my problems because it started in my low back pain and moved in my groin and then my legs. A tight band eventually developed around my waist, and a severe side pain developed in my abdomen. My legs became very stiff and very heavy, and this pain eventually moved up my back, my shoulders, my neck, my arms, my chest, and I now have a tight band around my chest, and sometimes it gets unbearable. My muscles occasionally feel like they're burning, especially my leg muscles. I once developed leg spasms so bad they shook uncontrollably. I had to be taken to the emergency room. And now I have a buzzing feeling in my muscles that just won't go away, and I get a tingling feeling in my face. Now I go on to explain more about me going to the doctors, and one of the doctors told me that I could possibly have transverse myelitis. I'm still got appointments to get more research done. This is not over, but I will be taking some time away from YouTube and from creating information on my website. So if you post something asking a question on any of the videos it may be a while before I can respond, because I don't get up every day and check the computer because of the pain that I'm in. I do have a body diagram, and I do explain here in my symptoms, and I'm not going to read all of those. These are my symptoms, but again, they happened not long after I had the COVID shot, and I didn't realize that it had a correlation to it until one of the doctors suggested it could be transverse myelitis, and I got to reading on the web pages, and I saw that it could be vaccine related. Now, a lot of the links that I have here below, I do have up here, where the safe and effective second opinion, and I'm not going to click on any of these. That's the link here if you'd like to click and open it in another one. It's kind of a 50-minute video, but if you look at the first 5 or 10 minutes, you'll see people that are just like me, people that are struggling walking after they had the vaccine, and this gentleman that's in the bed here in the video, he is almost identical to my symptoms, but I'll close that out. I have that here, but like I said, I've been to over 15 doctors. Some of them just didn't know what was going on. And when I saw this in Newsweek, where it said doctors shrug off patients with rare vaccine disorders delaying treatment, it kind of was an eye-opener. You know, was back in the 5th month, the 4th day of 2022. So at least Newsweek and other reputable news places are now at least pointing out people with disorders that come from the COVID vaccine. You know, before I've never heard of that. I just didn't see of it on any of the Facebook things, and I don't stay up to date on Facebook, and I admit I don't get on it except to say happy birthday to friends and relatives. Now, here is from in Tennessee, WKRN News 2, that a lady was paralyzed after the second COVID shot, and Pfizer's response to the news is that we're that these conditions are unrelated to the vaccine, unfortunately, like other similarity rates. So they're denying that it has anything to do with the vaccine. But it's kind of strange that all of a sudden that people that had these Pfizer shots, whether it was the first, second, or third one, that started having very similar symptoms. So these are Science Direct that are peer-reviewed documents from the science world. It says transverse myelitis 48 hours after the COVID administration of the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. If you go and look and read the abstract, the case presentation conclusion, this is about a 60-year-old patient that has the symptoms very similar to mine and very symptoms to many of the people that are in the videos. Here is an acute, and this is from the Journal of Medical Research and Innovator. This is an acute inflammatory transverse myelitis post-Pfizer vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine in a 16 years old. If you go on to read it, talks about how the 16-year-old was healthy until he developed the, it could have been a she, I'm sorry, just the 16-year-old developed transverse myelitis after the COVID vaccine shot. Now, is this a coincidence? I don't know. Transverse myelitis is very rare. However, this rare condition is occurring into people not long after they get the vaccine. So if you read right here, transverse myelitis is a rare neurological condition. So if it is rare, why is it very common after the second Pfizer vaccine? Now, it is happening with other vaccinations as well, but more so with the Pfizer. So if it is rare, why is this rare conditioning all of a sudden starting to occur to thousands of people after they get the COVID vaccine? But anyhow, it's a rare neurological condition caused by inflammation in the spinal cord. The symptoms include muscle weakness, pain, and bladder dysfunction. It has several possible causes. Some people recover from the symptoms, resulting in complications of transverse myelitis, while others do not. And it goes on to talk about some of the symptoms, which you have muscle and movement issues, you have severe pain, you have abnormal sensations, and you get numbness, pricking, burning, sensitive to touch and temperature, diminish of temperature sensitivity. And for bowel and bladder symptoms, when my symptoms occurred, I started having severe constipation. And I told every single doctor, and they said, oh, that's not related to anything. And then when I looked at transverse myelitis, which the last doctor that I went to in Winston-Salem, he kind of pointed out these symptoms, and I saw that they were the symptoms that I was experiencing. So that's why they're going to do more research. But as you can see here, loss of balance, and you can see from the videos that these people has difficulty walking, and I do. Now, I was not someone that used to have difficulty walking. I do have muscle spasms. I had to be taken to the emergency room because of my muscle spasms. And a partial loss of muscle functions may develop into paralysis. This is the point that's gotten to me that affects my web page and my videos. Before, when it was just in my legs, I was able to sit in a chair and work on software, make the videos, but now it's round up my back, it's on my shoulders, it's in my arms. I have trouble, my arms feel heavy, it's hard to control my arms, very similar to the way it is my legs now. So it's something that's getting worse in my condition instead of better. So hopefully they'll soon find something to help me so I can get back to creating content to help people that are using open source software across the internet. And it's not just open source software for Linux users, there's open source software for Windows and Mac users as well. Now, this is from the National Library of Medicine, all credible sources. It says the COVID-19 mRNA vaccine induced, and I can't pronounce that word, in fasciitis. If you go on to read, this is about a 28-year-old healthy female that received the dose of the mRNA vaccine against COVID, Moderna. 5 days later, she complained about muscle pain in her thighs, radiating to the lower legs, accompanied by asymmetrical weakness in her lower limbs. 7 days following the vaccination, a blood test revealed, and it goes on to explain things very similar in common with other people. But I did want to show you that it's not just a Pfizer, it is Moderna related as well. But when my research, since I have Pfizer, I come across more Pfizer than Moderna. But I am choosing reputable sources, so these are not just some random websites. Here is one from News 12 channel that's a reputable news. It talks about several, or it interviews several people that has their life changed after they had the COVID vaccine shot. So if you scroll down through here, there's multiple stories of multiple people that have a similar experience. And the part that really got me is when I got the vaccine, I thought it was safe and effective. Now I know there's going to be side effects for a lot of people, but a lot of these side effects are not really emphasized. When you watch TV and hear a commercial about medicine, a lot of times they say ask your doctor about it, and then it will tell you the side effects. Anytime that they tell you to get the COVID vaccine, I never hear of the side effects. I didn't think about these, and I don't know whether I still would have got it. I definitely wouldn't have, knowing the type of pain. It's pain unbearable. I'm not trying to talk you out of getting the COVID vaccine shot. I'm just making you aware of the side effects that I'm having. And I know I'm not the only one. If the only way that we're going to get this to where people can get help and make Pfizer and these other places held accountable is by people sharing their story. And if these people hadn't shared their stories, I would have just continued going to the doctor, and I'm still am. This hasn't fixed anything. I'm still going to go to the doctor when on my next appointments, and hopefully they'll find something and give me something to treat me with to help me with my pain so I can get back to a so-called normal life. I just wanted to share this to let everyone know the reason that I'm taking some time away from creating content on my YouTube channel and my webpage is because I'm experiencing problems with my muscles and that tight band around my waist and chest, and it's unbearable. I just can't explain the feeling. Hopefully this is not happening to you. It's just that I'm just trying to get my message across on my experience, comparing it with other experience that have a similar situation. So if you know of anyone that has had this, or if you know of anyone that's been in a lot of pain and they've been vaccinated and doctors can't explain why, they might want to do a little bit more research themselves and find out that there's others out there that are very similar to them. Hopefully that you're not in my situation, and hopefully this will help someone realize what's their problem. And I don't have a solution. I really don't. I just hope that you get the help that you need if you have problems similar to mine. Hope everyone is taking care, and have a good day.